Good morning. My name is Greg Davis and I'm with CBS ArcSafe. I would like to welcome you today to our webinar on load break switches. You know, sometimes these things are called line interrupter switches, load break switches. They have other different names just based upon what the manufacturer calls them. Today's presentation is going to cover 4 remote switch actuators. We're going to cover the Eaton Cutler Hammer MVS, the GE 1074, the GE SE series, and one of the Westinghouse AmpGuard load break switches. So we don't have everything where we'd have a whole series, but if you need something for like an S&C adult erupter or mini erupter, we have things for that. The Square D HVL and HVLCC, we have RSAs for these. And we have them for several other series of medium voltage load break switches. The first one we're going to look at now is the one for the Cutler Hammer MVS. We've got the RSA already put up here, and I'm just going to show how we would take, and once we've got it fixed, we're going to pull this down, and then once we've got that released, we're going to pull the arm down because we have to get it aligned with the opening where the actuator is going to go in. We could either use the RSA to motor this down, or we can do this by hand. I do have to pull the spring-loaded, so you're going to see a spring-loaded bar here, and that bar has to be able to go in and out as this arm travels up. So that's why it's got the spring on there. And we'll just nice and gently move this down here. Get this going into the hole for the switch arm, which is where it would normally go. And then once it's aligned, it feeds itself in and seats properly. And you can tell that it's seated. And now we'll hook up our RSO1 to this, which we've got already. We'll turn our power on. And normally we would move outside of the arc flash hazard boundary, but today, because we're doing this for demonstration purposes, I'll stand right here, and you have to hold the close switch down for the entire travel of the switch. I'll take the RSA off and show you how this one mounts. One of the things to understand is everything we make is based off of the geometry of the switch. So some people ask the question, why can't I have one apparatus that does everything? And the answer is because of the variations in terms of how the switch gear is constructed and then how it would be put together. And I'm just slowly moving this up. I stow it in there. We've got 3 magnets. These are the Maglock twist-on magnets. Each one of these generates about 150 kilos of force, or about, let me think, 350 pounds of force?
600 with 3/8 steel.
Oh, 600 on 3/8 inch steel? Okay. There we go. So what this does is this locates on this upper lip here for easy alignment. And then you just center it and then set everything up. So I'm just going to set this one down, and we're going to move on to our GE 1074. GE uses 2 switches primarily that we've seen over time. Most of the time you might see like the PowerCon in a GE cabinet, but the 1074 is one of GE's switches. So with this switch, you have to have an interlock defeat because you have to pull out a spring right here to allow the switch to be able to operate. Then we're going to take our remote switch actuator. And one of the things to notice on this one is we've got the locator right here. So this is going to locate on the right side here. One of the things also to notice is always position the actuator to be in the position the switch is going to be in. So don't try and put this one on with the handle down here with this handle up. You always have to take your time and make sure you line things up right. top. Move that over just here. There we go. Okay, that's properly aligned. Now we'll hook up our RSO. And now we're going to trip.
We may talk about the interlock defeat a little bit more in some of the other switch gear that has the interlocks to defeat as well.
So the PowerCon has a little knob that you have to pull out. We use a small Delrin defeat for that. There are a few others that have latch defeat, and you'll see those interlocks. As far as if you have questions, remember you can email us at info@cbsarcsafe.com with your particular switch that you may have, and we'll work to help you identify it, and we can either send you a page from our catalog or possibly one of our manuals so you can see that we have something that will be able to assist you in maintaining your arc flash mitigation program and keeping your personnel safe. So we're very familiar with the needs to be able to defeat the interlocks, keep them in the right places, and then once the switch has done what it's supposed to do, then you can move on from there. The next one, the GE SE series, comes in a fixed switch and actually in one that's rackable also. So this is the one that's fixed. If it was the rackable one, it would still have the same port here to be able to do stuff, but you wind up opening the door and you find out that you got this big switch that's rackable. So we can both rack that series in and out if you need that, and we can operate this. So this is the back side of this switch. So this is going to go into our switch mechanism where you would normally insert your manual tool, and then we're just going to use our 3 magnets to hold it in place. Right now the switch is in the open position, so that means we're going to close it first. And here we go. And that's the operation of the GE SE series switch. The last RSA we have for you today is if you've got the older Westinghouse amp guard motor starters, then this is probably one of the load break switches you would have on that lineup. In the newer Eaton Color Hammer amp guard series, there's a handle that looks similar to the amp guard motor starter. That would be a different remote switch actuator than what you're going to see right here. So that's just one of the things to realize, that different models, as we've noted, have different geometry, and you have to be able to accommodate that. So this is our locator. We're going to go on the switch from the left side here. There we go. That magnet's on, that one's on. We're lined up. We'll get this hooked up. Again, we'll just hold the close button down for the entire travel of the switch. Some of the things to note with the RSO1, if you have what I'd say are large arc flash hazard boundaries, We do have radio remote options that can get you up to 100 meters away for wireless control of the remote switch actuator. The normal RSO1 comes with about 25 feet of cord. As far as when you stretch it out, that's what you're going to get for a distance. So if you have something that would be excessive where you can't stand in the room to do this, we do have the radio remote option that you can use on an RSO1. We'd like to open it up for questions now, so we'll take a minute here and see what people may have to ask.